Yo, yo, what's going on? Let's get these lights on. Let's get the show popping. What's going on, beautiful people? Just getting these lights. And it's always green. Don't know why. Don't understand where that started, why that started happening. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back. Let's get this show started. Let's do the damn thing. What's my name? Yeah. Oh man. It's gonna be a great show. Let's talk about this new double virus that's now out here, which is pretty amazing. That's it's mind blowing. And welcome back to the Kasabian Lavoe show. If it's your first time here, hit the like and subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're over at Facebook, follow the like page and check out the reels. Those reels are pretty dope. That's how Facebook supports us, and we definitely appreciate that when y'all head over there. Today's episode, inflation is definitely taking over, and it's starting to affect some of the things that we're used to, and I definitely want to jump into that. We'll be talking about what's going on with Twitter kicking off doctors. Like, can somebody help me comprehend that? I really don't understand how. I just don't get how Twitter can just kick a doctor off of the platform, but whatever, we'll talk about it. Allegiant's buying some new planes. I think that's pretty dope. They're a Vegas company, so we got to support Vegas companies. We'll talk a little bit about NFTs. I was listening to a collector speak about buying NFTs and why he has an issue with NFTs. I just want to bring it to everybody. Working from home seems to be here to stay. And funny thing is, while I was in school, the instructor at the time seemed to have an issue with people working from home, and it just shows that they're very, very disconnected. But we'll be covering the Flurona, which is the power couple that nobody wanted to deal with, which I think is a clever name, Flurona. They didn't really try, did they? They just went Flurona, done. An influencer in Mexico gets caught with some drugs. I guess she was popping online, and her boyfriend, she was living that life. We'll talk about that. And Elizabeth Holmes, if you know Elizabeth Holmes, she spoke like this, and she thought she was Steve Jobs. And she did that blood thing with the fake machine. If you don't remember that story, it was a pretty crazy story. We'll definitely be covering that. Remember, if this is your, if you've been here before, my bad. If you've been here before, you know where the fridge is, you know where the lights are. Stop acting crazy. Sit down, chill. Let's get into it. Y'all know what time it is. That's what rappers say. So I'm supposed to say, y'all know what time it is. Let's get into today's show. What song is it? Oh, coming in with Nip. Yes. Jess. Y'all can't hear the music on YouTube. Steps. Baby steps. That's how it all just baby steps. They don't really support you anyway. It's a fact. The song gives me anxiety because it's my alarm song. So every time I hear it, it's a great song. Bing, bling. Yeah, if you can't hear listen to the music. If you can't hear the music, it's because you're watching. So if you want to listen to the music, you got to head over to Apple Podcasts. You got to head over to Spotify or anywhere where podcasts are listened to. Make sure y'all can't hear that. The fan ain't loud. Word. It's Kasabian. Kasabian Lavoe wine. What's going on, beautiful people? My name is Kasabian Lavoe. Welcome back to the Kasabian Lavoe Show, live from Las Vegas. This is episode, what are we on, 260 something, 250 something? We up there. It's definitely moving along. Welcome back. My name's Kasabian. I'll be your host with talent on loan from God behind the microphone. This is pretty much what I'm good at, I guess, if you say so. If you ask other people, they would tell you otherwise. They would actually tell you that I'm not, which is very surprising. I want to do dirty jobs. Like Mike Rowe is back on Discovery Plus doing dirty jobs, and that was always something I wanted to do. I honestly wanted to take over the franchise after he left. I thought that'd be dope as shit. I would love to do that. Like take a week, 2 weeks to go work some crazy ass job, film it, and have feedback. Oh, that'd be dope as fuck. That'd be dope. My bad. My nose is my allergies are still killing me. That shit ain't gonna stop. But we in here. There's mad noises going on. So let's talk about inflation and the things that are going on with inflation. We'll be talking about AOC down in Florida. That's just so weird. That whole situation with how different cities that or states that have the whole mask mandate, you see their leaders are running off to cities. Am I popping? Sounds like I'm popping. I can't really tell. But I find it funny that a lot of leaders from blue states are running over to red states because of the whole mask situation. Allegiant's buying new planes, and it's good to see that they're expanding the company, especially because it's a Vegas company with them having their name on the stadium. That's also a big deal, too. So it's pretty dope that that fleet is growing. It's going to take some time, so nothing's going to happen anytime soon. I want to talk about NFTs and this issue that a collector brought up that I thought was pretty interesting. We'll talk about the Fresh and Fit boys, and working from home is definitely here to stay. We're talking about that new Flurona, an influencer that got caught with some drugs in Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes, I am here to help you. My mouth is mad dry. I apologize. Elizabeth Holmes is a special case, but we'll definitely get into that. So if you're not paying attention to this inflation issue that we have in front of us, inflation is going to keep on rising. That means your money is going to be worth less and less. And honestly, you're just going to have to understand that your dollar won't go far, and you need a lot of things that you're going to have to do to maintain. One is avoid, the pitfalls of thinking that the shit isn't going to change. So you have to now move your money differently. One of the funniest things to me that really caught me off guard was that Little Caesars is bumping up their hot and ready to $5.55. Bro, I think Little Caesars have had $5 pizzas for damn near 25, 30 years. And it's perfect. I lived in a neighborhood where you couldn't get deliveries. Nobody would come. There wasn't no Grubhub and none of that shit. When you called a pizza spot, nobody came. So you had to walk up to Little Caesars and get a hot and ready for $5. Now, I don't even think they tax us the $5. We just walked in there and just threw the $5. But even picture that. Now you got to scrape up more money, and the services aren't even the same in those types of neighborhoods, on top of rent increases, bills going up. Everything's going to keep chugging along, and something's got to give. So be careful with this inflation, because it's definitely going to start changing shit. And I bet you that pizza jumps up another $1 and change if they keep going. A lot of restaurants are going to have to do this. It's the only way they're going to maintain. Nobody wants to work. They got to pay better. There's a lot of things that are coming. I promise you it'll get worse before it gets better. If you've been watching the AOC thing, it's been so strange, right? She uses the internet and her job in the weirdest way that it's not conducive to what she's supposed to be doing, right? You are in a state that has heavy masks mandate, and you should stay there for New Year's and be with your constituents. Instead, you go to a state that doesn't have any mask mandates and you want to party it up. Then you try to attack those states and attack those leaders, but nonetheless, you're going there to have a good time. And a lot of the leaders from those red states where y'all go to party have called you out on it. It just gets worse and worse, because she gets online and she starts to say shit like people want to date her and they have a fetish with her dude's feet. That's just inappropriate for politicians to be even talking that way. And the fact that she thinks that she didn't do any wrong just shows you the hypocrite. I mean, they're all hypocrites, but the hypocrisy in her literally leaving her state just to have a good time, that's crazy to me. It's definitely something to pay attention to, because it just, where do they stand on these problems and issues? Do you really want these people leading you and they can't even stand on one side or the other? Who knows? Okay, so Allegiant, if you don't know, Allegiant is a Las Vegas company. Allegiant is a small company, and they're growing, which is an awesome thing, but it takes time. Like, you can order the planes all you want, but they ordered quite a few new planes. They're going to be bigger planes, and they're switching brands. I'm not sure if that's even out there, but I believe it's Boeing that they're going to. They're with Airbus now. So they want to get bigger planes, and hopefully they can provide better services and faster flights. I'm assuming that they're just doing this because they're making more money as the company grows. It's been a couple years. The company's been in Vegas, I believe, since 2000. So to hear that they're buying new planes, that's dope. I mean, it's Allegiant has a so-so rep, right? I don't want to say nothing bad because honestly, it's like it is what it is. The rep is out there, but if they can improve by getting new planes, I mean, it looks legit. It really looks like they want to add more comfort and more quality. So with things like that, you got to definitely clap it up for a company that's trying to help and trying to do something different, as opposed to all the other companies that are just like fucking cutting everybody off and saying, fuck it, we're not doing shit for y'all. Okay, so Oculus has been going crazy. A lot of people got it for Christmas. A lot of people have been playing on their Oculus, and a lot of people have understood now or are starting to grasp NFTs, and they're starting to grasp what this meta world is going to look like, what the metaverse is. Excuse me, I had the worst indigestion. Like, you know, I think the best way to comprehend NFTs and how the metaverse works is by just throwing on the Oculus and seeing what the kids are seeing. But it's really starting to look like those movies that we grew up on in the 90s where you lived in a pod and shit, and all of a sudden, like, real life was in the glasses, and when you took it off, everything was, like, dirty and decrepit, and all you do was, like, piss and take a shower or whatever and eat, and you just go right back to the meta. Who knows? Maybe at one point you just, have an IV drip, and you stay in the meta. I see people driving trucks. There's people that act like police officers. There's people that are just working regular jobs, like drive-through windows. Like, the metaverse is real. People are really working this shit. People are really doing things, and if they're already doing it on the metaverse, if you're behind, you're behind. But everybody's been seeing the Oculus 2s, and they look dope. And then this collector who dude's got crazy bread for investing in just Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And the one thing that he doesn't touch, he was like, yeah, I don't fuck with NFTs, which blew me away. If anybody today tells you that NFTs are the way to go, including myself, I feel like NFTs are definitely going to be something. Once again, nobody cares about your drawings. If you have a drawing or something and you want to NFT it, go for it. But if nobody's buying your drawings already, nobody's going to buy your NFTs. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. It's unfortunate. You would think it does, but it don't. It don't. His issue with buying an NFT is the contract. The contract will allow the original owner, to get a cut every time that it's sold. And he felt like basically that means there's no ownership. Therefore, with no ownership, he wouldn't be able to, I guess, securely evaluate the pieces, because he just wants you to have nothing to do with it, and he wants to be able to hide it from the whole world, and then that's how he'll decide, I guess, his value. Because I mean, artwork is value that these people pretty much put together because of rarity, because of quality, because of things of that nature. So an NFT that doesn't have any type, like, it's a JPEG, so everybody can have it. So how do you make it so that it's yours? And his other beef was, well, all you get's a couple numbers. You get a few serial numbers, and that's your NFT, which is true. But in the metaverse, it's not a JPEG, right? Like, it's only a JPEG in the real world. In the metaverse, it's like a thing. It might not have utility, but it's a piece or something that you can have in your meta world, your meta house. It's hard to say that you wouldn't want an NFT because the collection isn't necessarily yours. I just think this is how you get it now. And again, if you look at it in person, it's a JPEG. It's nothing. It's a flat, or maybe even a 3D piece, maybe even it moves, maybe it's a small clip. There's many different things that your NFT can look like or do. But again, it's the utility. I think that's the biggest issue that doesn't get pushed around or talked about, is that there's utilities with certain NFTs, and the drawings really don't have too much utility. But nonetheless, if you have one in the metaverse, it's not just a JPEG. So I understand that you might not have the exclusivity, but you do. It's just not here in like the real world, which is going to be harder and harder to keep on talking about. But that's what it is. So Fresh and Fit back at it again. I say Fresh and Trick because I don't want them to come after me on my little page. But the Fresh and Fit dudes, I mean, it seems like the magic trick. There was a quote that I heard a long time ago, and I always live by it. It was watch the magic trick and stop trying to figure it out. Just enjoy the trick. And I thought that was like such a profound quote. Like, yeah, just watch the magic trick. Why are you trying to figure it out? Just enjoy it. But the fresh and fit magic trick, they're a one trick pony. You know, belittle chicks, scream on them, bark on them, and then you have an outrageous moment, you boot one off, you ridicule someone that's below you anyway in a mental fucking capacity. It's whatever. They had a person that was on the show that knew the trick and kind of flipped it on them, and it went bad. Then they started digging up their past and how they apparently both the dudes, they're both black and they don't like black women. So everybody had an issue with that, and they basically said they had a preference the same way women have preferences. They can have preferences. As long as they're not derogatory or negative towards anybody, I don't see there shouldn't be a reason why they can't have a preference. I thought that was kind of weak that they pulled that up because that was all they had. Like the fresh and fit dudes, this is what they do. I just feel like the trick is out of the bag. Everybody knows what's coming, and now you're going to see more women on the attack, and the wittier ones that are able to get away from the lure that they put on them. They're going to fuck up the show more and more. And I just think it's getting old. I think everybody's really, like I said, it's crazy that they have amassed such a big audience, but nonetheless, I think I said it like 40 times, but I think that's dwindling away, especially when things like this keep happening. Who knows? I bet you the motherfuckers will hit like 4 million followers and this will never even be a thing. So while I was in class, a lot of the instructors were talking about work from home and how they have a problem with work from home and they feel like everybody should be in the office. I don't think anybody has that sentiment today. I think a lot of people appreciate working from home and they don't mind having an area that maybe they gather for meetings or have appointments with clients if you work in that style of job. You know, this is the same person that says she wants dress codes in the office. And I'm like, I understand a dress code. I think more just dress well. There's $900 white tees available today. You can't really have a dress code when white t-shirts cost more than full outfits. And for anybody that tells you working from home is unproductive and this and that, there's so many numbers that prove that that's all wrong. Like there's numbers that show that there's work increased, 8 hours of work gets done quicker and less stress. So work from home is definitely something that's going to stay, and it's definitely going to affect the commercial real estate market. And we'll see how, who knows, maybe housing changes from how you build houses now to have offices, maybe multiple offices and homes so that you can work from home. I don't know. So let's talk. We just have 3 stories on top of all those things, but stories that I got some pool quotes for. And the first one is the Flurona. It's a mix of COVID and the flu, the influenza virus. Apparently you can swab test for both, and it's here in America. It started overseas a couple days ago. I didn't really want to talk about it. I thought it maybe disappeared, but it blew up and it's all over the United States, according to what I've been reading, but there's really not much about it. So this is from Fox News. This is all we got so far. And of course, it's just not going to wake up. Stories from Fox News. Multiple cases of Flurona or COVID-19 and influenza infection simultaneously have been detected in the United States as the nation sees a resurgence of the flu amid record COVID-19 cases. And then it just went into a bunch of stories of people that had it, how they had it, and how they felt. Some of them had vaccines, some didn't. Some said that they felt terrible. Some said it wasn't too bad. It definitely felt like just the flu. It didn't feel like one or the other. A lot of fatigue, stuck on the couch, things of that nature. We still don't have much information, so there's not much I can say. But they can test you for both, and they can let you know if you have both. Beware, wash your hands, and just understand that this is going to be real life from now on, and it's Flurona. Yeah, here we go. And I think it's what suppressed the show today because I know they're not going to let you do that. So the next story is about this influencer in Mexico City. Stories from Vice. A reality TV star, aspiring reggaeton artist, was arrested in Mexico City on Monday in a stolen car with over 150 bags of cocaine. Gabriela Castillo, 26, has been publicly linked romantically to multiple well-known gangsters in Mexico City, which is not a good thing when you're trying to be famous in the past, and was detained this week alongside an alleged member of the car theft ring, according to local media. Castillo, who also goes by the name, I'm not going to name her regular name on social media, has been rumored to be connected with organized crime ever since this high-profile murder of 2 reality TV stars happened in 2019. She was finally arrested this week when authorities pulled over a black Ford F4 model truck containing the influencer and a man, I'm not going to give his name. The investigators had been reportedly investigating a car theft scheme allegedly ran by members of the Soto family that operates through Mexico. Members of the group allegedly bought vehicles around the country using cheques, or checks in English. I don't know why the whole story is in English except that part. That's hilarious. Cheques, which would later bounce. Then the group would resell the vehicles inside of the stolen trucks. Authorities reportedly found 169 small bags of cocaine and 70 others containing weed. So they bought the trucks with fake checks. Checks would bounce, and then they would just sell them forward and get rid of it. Well, them hiding the drugs in the truck was a whole different thing. And I don't even know how Mexico law works or what's going on with this chick, but I thought that was interesting because I wonder if she snitches and brings down the whole organization. So if you don't know what Theranos was, there's this lady, Elizabeth Holmes. She popped up out of nowhere. She dressed like Steve Jobs. She talked like this. Joe Rogan has a hard on for her. He's like so blown away by what she does. I didn't really care. It looked like bullshit off rip. What she did, well, what she thought she did was create a machine that would read your blood instantly and give you results automatically. Like you put in the drop of blood and it spit out results. It's pretty impossible. Like nobody's ever created that, and she didn't either. So there's documentaries on Netflix that tell this story way better, but she went to court and it didn't really go so good. But I don't think it really went too bad. Like she's definitely going to serve some time, and it should be a lot longer, because what I think the real crime would be that there's people that really thought that this would be something and that they maybe can have some type of hope. Like there's ways of checking DNA and checking other things, so it's not necessarily the only way, and it wasn't the only hope. But just being honest, it led a lot of people to believe that this thing was going to work and change how medicine would work, because it could predict if you were going to have cancer. It was predicting brain tumors, heart disease, predicting everything, cholesterol issues, and instantly, right? Which is something that doesn't happen. Right now, you can send off your DNA and it takes a ton of weeks or whatever to get them back. About a month, you get everything back and you can find out all types of shit. This just wasn't that. So she definitely got hit with some charges, and we'll talk about that. Elizabeth Holmes. So go watch it and then listen to her. Like find the documentary, not go watch it. Go watch the documentary with her of Theranos. I think it was like Bloodline or Blood something. Listen to her talk. She talks like this, and she makes it seem like she's like, it's so strange that her voice did that and nobody called her out on it. And then some high school friends of hers were like, yo, she don't speak that way. What the fuck is going on? Miss Holmes was convicted of defrauding some of the blood testing startup's biggest investors Monday in San Jose federal court in one of the highest profile white collar crimes in years. I think it's beyond the investors though, but that's just me. But I feel like because they were the victims money wise, this is where the crime ensues. The verdict was mixed. Miss Holmes was found guilty on 4 charges involving investors, including conspiracy to defraud investors, and not guilty of 4 charges involving patients, including conspiracy to defraud patients. The jury was deadlocked on 3. That's what I'm saying. Like, how is the jury deadlocked on any of it? If you listen to the case, it's pretty open and shut. I do believe that damages were done to patients. If you made any promises, any guarantees, or even made an insinuation that you've created something that was doing that, I think that you should definitely, there has to be repercussions for it, because white collar my ass, this shit was supposed to change the world. It's supposed to change the world. That's what this lady said. This was going to change the world. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case at all. It made for a great doc. It's even a fucking funny ass movie. If you watch how they did everything, it looks so comical. Somebody would take it out of the bag, they'd go process it in real life, come back and put it in, and you pop out a little ticket that they wrote. It sounds like a fucking cartoon for kids. It really does. Yeah, that's today's show. We'll be back on Friday. We'll drop in the audio tomorrow, and then Friday show Saturday, and then Saturday we'll do the vlog, and Sunday is Riding with Kasabian. We're going to keep that going. My name's Kasabian. Live in the moment. Don't live in the past. Be safe. Stay dangerous. Lavoe loves you. Why?